Hello, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one, I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And I demand you let me right in you this instant, or I'll turn this car around so fast it'll make your head spin.
Great line.
Yeah, so welcome to From the Closet. Today we are covering Star versus the Forces of Evil, the Battle for Mewni, which nowadays it's mostly known as Season 3, Episodes 1 through 4. But that's not what it was when it aired on TV, so we're
Actually,
splitting them
it would
up.
be 1
Also,
through 5. Or, no, never
on
mind.
Disney
Never
Plus,
mind. I'm
it's
bad at counting.
yeah, it's 1 through 4. Yeah. But yeah, so uh there will be a link below for you to purchase, rent, or stream Star versus the Forces of Evil. Our links are to Just Watch, and they are focused on the US. However, the app, if you use the app, it will redirect you to your country. And if you use the website, you'll be able to change which country. You'll be able to change the country from the website page itself. This is releasing in October. So also in the description below, there will be a link to our Patreon where you'll be able to access episodes early and vote on future episodes, and also access episodes of our sister show, Off the Shelf, early, which is about books.
Yay!
There's
Who likes
also
reading? Apparently I don't, because I don't appear.
yeah. Also linked below is a link to Anchor.fm, which contains links to every platform this podcast is on, as well
As
as
our
our socials.
socials, yeah, you should totally. Only cool people follow. So that means only 10 people are actually cool.
Yeah. Sorry, if you're not one of them, you're not cool. I can't. You can join us next week for our free movie of the month for October and Captain America the Winter Soldier. And for the rest of season 3, that will be airing on the 18th.
Cool.
That, with all that being said, this podcast episode will contain spoilers for the first 4 episodes of season 3 of Star versus the Forces of Evil. Um, so yeah, you have been warned.
Ward.
Warned. Words. What the fuck are they?
We gotta ward off the people that haven't watched the show.
My WOND. Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty much what I just did was pretty much as bad as Ludo misspelling wand.
Okay, I'm just wondering how the hell. Okay, Ludo has a missing finger, and the wand is inside his hand, and he's like, "Yeah, this is fine."
Well, no, he was pretty upset about it at the start.
Okay, then he eventually said, "Yeah, this is fine." I mean, he was more
Well, yeah,
upset
because like,
because of the book than anything that apparently won't let him in.
yeah, because he's not the owner of the book, and it's sort of implied that Toffee is right now.
So why did Toffee even want the book destroyed to begin with?
Well, he did say that he didn't.
I always thought that was like he didn't like that wasn't him controlling Ludo at that point.
Well, I mean, he explicitly says, I didn't want this. That was all Ludo. But, I mean, regardless, Toffee's goal here is to destroy all magic. Um,
Hmm. Because he lost a finger?
No, I'm pretty sure he kind of always wanted to destroy magic, but the real thing is like, um, the Mewmins were basically the story is the Mewmins are using magic to oppress the monsters. Um,
Okay, so Toffee basically commits treason of the highest order, and he got off with a piece of his finger just chopped off.
well, I mean, it's kind of hard to kill him. Moon's pretty much the only one that can. Um,
I guess that's true.
or at least at the time that this occurred, she's pretty much the only one that can.
And then Star
And,
Butterfly just absolute Z moves um, him into oblivion.
yes, that was fucking fantastic. Like watching this on TV and like having gone through the whole thing of season 2 and seeing all the fan art of what Star's butterfly form might actually look like. Because like we knew it wasn't going to be what we saw in the Muberty episode. Like that was such a hype moment when we finally got it.
No, I
Um,
would. God, now that he said it, I just really want to see a meme now where the Z move overlay over that scene.
I mean, well, that would make sense. Like it does. Z moves also do kind of feel like they're from a magical girl anime, and this whole sequence is very much inspired by magical girl anime. It's very much like a Sailor Moon moment.
Nah, Star basically. Star did a fuck you in particular, say goodbye to your life, get off this earth.
Yeah. Also, we do have the implication, and I don't know if it's exactly 100% canon or not,
Hmm.
that Rusticor, you remember him, the lizard that was with Miss Heinous?
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, I almost called her something else there. If y'all have seen the rest of the series, you know. Um,
I
but yeah,
don't.
we do have the we do have the implication that he was with Toffee's group in the past because he also heals in a similar way, just not as fast.
Hmm. So,
But yeah, go
there's
ahead.
one thing I've. Okay, some big things I've noticed about the High Magical Commission. One, in the flashback, it seems there was a lot more of them than they are now.
I don't really recall there being more of them. I just remember Mina kind of also being there and some members of the Johansson family.
I think okay. I think the Johansson family is what got me like a lot of the confusion. Because I mean, there was
Yeah.
enough to fill a whole table at that meeting.
Yeah, it took me a second to figure out what you were talking about, but yeah, I think I get it now. Yeah, it was also interesting to like see a young River and a young Moon was fucking cool, badass. You really feel for her and like how she was forced to become a queen at 14.
I like how what was the old queen's name again? The one that was trapped in ice or crystal.
Eclipsa.
Yeah, Eclipsa was like, "Well, you're too young to be queen." Like almost laughing it off until she said, "Unless."
Yeah. And I do one thing I do love is like how the show in general has built up Eclipsa to be this really, really evil person. And then we actually get to the point where we're seeing her and she doesn't seem so evil.
Before.
Before.
Wait,
That one did get a chuckle out of me when that aired.
wait, who's restocking the snacks?
I would assume Romulus, because it seems like that's where he lives.
I guess that makes sense. Though if it's where he
Or maybe
lives,
Lekmit.
then
Maybe Lekmit because they lived together.
yes.
Um,
I'm sorry, if it's where they live, then why do they have a vending machine instead of just not having to pay themselves to get their own snacks?
okay, so what I believe that what I have a theory on this. It is either Romulus's or Lekmit's, and like their roommates at the presumably they were roommates back then. We know they were roommates during season 2. But what I would believe is that one of them had a habit of stealing the other's snacks. So instead of, it was probably a vending machine to make it so that when, you know, the when their roommate wanted to steal a snack, they'd at least get a little bit of money out of it.
Pay up, bitch.
That would make sense to me. There could be a number of other reasons, but that's the one that's my headcanon.
I guess it makes sense. So, what? Oh yeah, the other thing about the Magic High Commission, I was wondering, how did they form?
Well, I don't think this is like explicitly stated, but I think it's implied that Glossaric actually created them.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Why?
I suppose it's probably to govern like magic throughout the multiverse while Glossaric is busy training the Mewni princesses.
I guess. So,
And like we also got to remember, like, at this point in time in the movie, there's like 5 members of the Magic High Commission, and in this movie there's only 4 because Lekmet died. Or technically 6 if you count the Queen of Mewni, because technically the Queen of Mewni is supposed to be a member.
yeah. Wait. Where is Glossaric now?
That's kind of complicated. I'm not really sure. It's never really super confirmed because, like, they could be in the dimension. Glossaric could be in the dimension where, like, the magic resides. And we do go back there in later seasons, but
Do we see Glossaric again?
yes, we do.
And the book is no more.
Yeah, the book is gone. So yeah, God. Also, something to note. We haven't mentioned this yet. The intro, the animation is different.
Yeah. It reminds me of Amphibia, actually, where they changed the intro animation for the second season, but they didn't change the music.
Yeah, like that's what happened here. And then of course we have a completely different outro, which makes sense because we're not on Earth. And the outro for seasons 1 and 2 was very much Earth-centric.
So, I think...
And I like both... I like both outros, but I think I prefer the outro from season 1 and 2 to this one. Shining Star's not bad, but I really like the other one.
Okay. Interesting. I think, we're quite a ways in. We talked about the episode. I think it's time to talk the big thing that we literally argued in DMs about.
Oh god. Whether or not this actually flows together as a cohesive story. I think it does. Lily seems to not think it does.
I feel like this makes much more sense as individual episodes. And
to me, I think for me, I think it makes sense either way. But I preferred it as its own 2-hour special that it was originally.
And under this rabbit hole...
for me, go ahead.
And going under this rabbit hole, I was trying to look up different things to find out that these episodes have season 3 production codes, not season 2, which what I thought they were.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because very clearly I think Star Crushed was very much meant to be the finale of season 2 from the get-go. But this whole thing does not feel like season 3. Just from my perspective, coming from actually having seen the rest of season 3, it doesn't really feel the same.
On the other hand, this could have actually flowed really well with season 2.
Yeah.
It could just flowed right into a narrative with, individual episodes. But
then, also the release dates too.
So something I've been really wondering is what would have happened if Disney wasn't trying to compete with Cartoon Network. How would have these episodes released?
I have no idea. But, these episodes, okay, this special, it released in July. I can't remember what year. But it was definitely before 2019 because I was still living at my aunt's house.
2017. Actually, I'm checking it now. Could have been 2015 or 2016. Oh my god,
I definitely don't think
had this page open.
I definitely don't think it was 2015 because I think I'm pretty sure I was already out of school by then.
It was 2017.
Yeah. Okay. So these released in July, but then season 3, what I consider the start of season 3, wouldn't happen until November or December.
November.
I can't remember which one you said it was. November? Okay. Yeah, see, that's the weird thing to me.
Oh.
And I get seasons taking breaks, but this does not seem like a season taking a break.
Also forgot the other weird thing. Toffee, the episode Toffee, has 2 separate production codes.
Yeah, that's really weird. I also haven't really memorized the titles of these episodes because I just know it as the Battle for Mewni. I just know one of them is titled Toffee.
Yeah, Toffee is the 30-minute episode.
Yeah. But okay, so as far as whether or not this makes a cohesive narrative, from my perspective, what this is you have multiple characters in multiple different places at once, and it's important to get each of their perspectives on what's going on like at the same time. So like we start with Star and Moon's perspective, and we do have a flashback mixed in here as well that's like immediately after Star and Moon's conversation. And then I believe we cut to Marco and River, or was it Ludo that we cut to?
Then it's Ludo, then Marco and River, and then Star, and then see. Here's the thing. Well, as long with all of the cuts being so conveniently um, the size of episodes, I mean that's just too convenient if you ask me. Unless they did editing. But also,
I wonder if you like actually compared it, like actually looked at the amount of time. Um, would it directly compare to episodes in like season 1 or 2? Because like I wouldn't be surprised if some of the cuts were like, oh, this part's actually a bit longer, like 5 minutes longer, because like that's pretty significant for TV.
mhm. I would actually love to do a little bit of a comparison on that.
Yeah, but like, so anyway, I'm gonna finish what I was saying. Like from my perspective, because you have these characters that are separated, and what you have to do is like show each of their perspectives and like cycle through them a couple of times to eventually have them come together at the end. Um, so like we get what's going on with Star and Moon, and then like we cut to what Ludo was doing at that time, and then we cut to what Marco and River were doing at that time. Because like at least one day passes in like our, we at least see one day pass in all three of those scenes. Because like um or do we know it. I think it started as day in the at the start of the Star and Moon scene, and then it's nighttime when we get to the end.
Well, and it what comes after here, what is very confusing, is then an entire. So we just finish up with King and the King and Marco, right?
Mm-hmm.
They rallied up the people. Next episode, Ludo's taken over. An entire war has already been settled. And then when we cut back to Ludo, he's obviously already taken over. He went through the entire castle and threw out everything that belonged or had any similation to the butterflies.
Well, okay, so something to remember, like I said, that like I had said before we started recording, this whole thing it takes place over a couple of days. I did say a week at most, but I think that's probably being way too generous. Um, and you have to remember that Ludo has magic right now, um, and River cannot use magic. Marco is like at best a red belt in Kung Soo Do, which I don't even know if that's a real martial art.
I think they just
Um,
combine a bunch of different martial arts, but we all know it's just a VHS martial arts series.
yeah, like they really can't put up a fight against Ludo and his magic and his fucking army of rats.
But then
Um,
I think what really sells it as like this has to be like a quite a big time skip is because how the villagers were treating it. It's like we don't like you. It honestly feels like, at least when I was watching it, like this didn't just happen. Quite a bit of time, if not like few days, passed by while Ludo was in this little control.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I did say this does take place over just a few days, but I don't think it's a week. I think maybe like 3-4 days makes
I,
sense. Um,
but what really felt the most unnatural was the cut between the second to last episode to the last episode. Up to this point, we haven't really seen a Star. The last time we saw a Star was um actually breaking out with the frogs.
yeah, and oh my God, Katrina talking, that was an amazing scene. And like the fact that she sneaks out to the club and go dancing was just fucking hilarious.
And obviously, they all agree that Star gonna die without this plan.
And then okay, also, just before that scene, we had like the whole thing of like um Moon and Buff Frog arguing, uh, and like very much showing a racial tension, which is pretty much what season 3 in general is going to focus on. I guess I'll just spoil that.
Oh
It's
no.
like the whole yeah, it's pretty much the whole tension between the humans and the monsters. Um, but we can see that like clearly in the past. Clearly, humans teach their kids that monsters eat babies, and the monsters do the same with their kids. So, it's very clear that neither side is really doing great here. But I think the particular problem is more on the it just. I think the particular problem is that the humans have magic, so they have a tool to actually dominate the monsters.
Yeah. I mean, well, now that I think about it, it's not like, do all humans? Yeah, not all humans have access to magic, but of course they're all
No,
protected
but the
by it.
human No, but the Mewman royal family does, and that's enough.
So, okay, another big thing. The royal family can use magic on their own, and also the wand has magic.
Yes.
Okay, that actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing later too. But like the wand does have its like own kind of source, I guess you would say. And then well they all draw from the dimension of magic, which we actually sort of saw in this this episode, but it's not quite it doesn't quite look the way it'll look later, obviously, because Toffee's corrupting everything.
Mm-hmm. So there is something I want to talk about, like with Toffee. So I like Star's, huge big attack that absolutely destroys Toffee, but why do I just feel like, you know, it happened too fast? It like, there's all this tension, Toffee, and he's just walking away and then boom, dead. Like there wasn't very much actual fighting.
I mean, there are a lot of people who feel this way, and there are a lot of people who think the story should have gone deeper into some things that are revealed in the spell book, because I'm pretty sure the spell book is like actually a published thing you can buy,
Mm.
and that they should have dove deeper into that kind of thing, because there were other characters who were uh, possibly more sinister than Toffee.
Huh.
And like this, but to me, like I think this is I think this is fine.
Huh.
Maybe a better, like maybe a bigger action scene would be cool, but I think this was a really great way to showcase how powerful Star's butterfly form is.
I just feel like they built up Toffee just to have him be absolutely destroyed by Star Butterfly. I don't know. I feel like
Well,
there should have been just a little bit more tension, just a little bit more.
I mean, to be fair, they did showcase him pretty much almost destroying magic, um, trapping Star in the dimension of magic. Of course, she would eventually escape, but still. Um, and like, I mean, they also said straight up said that he killed, or he and his group killed Moon's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So like, he's very clearly a super sinister. Um, like he's very clearly already a threatening enough villain as it is.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I think what I really want to say is I prefer the season one, like part of the season one finale, than to have I don't know, that felt like a fight rather than hit Toffee just walk away and then get obliterated. Everything else was
I don't really.
fine. It was fine. Like I think I just like
I
the way that season one finale handled it.
I think with the season one finale, I don't think we really saw Toffee fighting that much. I mean, sure, like Star blasted him and he fell back, and then, but the whole thing with the season one finale was more of a it was more of a hostage negotiation scene
Mhm.
than an action scene. At least when it got into the thick of it, obviously there was action with Star actually getting there.
And a lot of this the entire movie, all things considered, didn't really have that much action to it.
No, it didn't. I think that's fine. It doesn't have to be action all the time, but yeah, maybe it could have had more. Oh, you know what we haven't talked about yet?
What haven't we talked about? I thought we talked about a lot of things.
The Resistance,
Oh yeah,
aka Rubariat, uh, Full Duke, and the Mime.
I mean
For one,
the
okay,
mime was great.
I love that like both Rubariat and Full Duke like fully acknowledge that the mime is an artistic genius. I know there are people out there who are scared of mimes, but I think this was fine. But then, oh my god, it was freaky when that mime started speaking.
I also like how no, I guess you can't call it bait and switch, but that sort of diversion while stealing the key that could come off of a show like Carmen San Diego.
that I that blew that blew me back when I first saw it. I was like, wow, genius. but then also they really do hate each other, so it's cool too.
Yeah, we got the key. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, but we also really do hate each other.
Yeah, and then there's also a scene later where Marco rubs literal shit on his face. Um,
I like to not think about that.
I think Marco would prefer not to think about it as well.
Also, the king literally getting blasted off to the sun.
Yeah, and I guess he was caught by an eagle or something. Um, Same with the children's choir, although we never saw their instructor again, I don't think.
Huh.
So
I don't know, maybe they're just
that's dark.
either they're dead or they just hang back at nest. They never want to
I think
leave.
they're dead.
No, I'm not actually kind of like oh, the king got blasted up. Uh where did he go? And end of the episode. Hey bitch, I'm back. Did you miss me? I bet you missed me.
Also, okay, so see, some other things too, like seeing Star run up, like bursting into the castle in a giant rat costume. That was hilarious as fuck. Um, and then like she gets caught and thrown into the dungeon, and then we see Marco in a smaller. Uh, was it a rat costume as well?
It might have.
Yeah. At any rate, we see him again, and there's like this, there's like these sounds of a big fight scene, but it's just him versus a tiny ass rat. Which to me, that's funny. I don't really think they were trying to do it for laughs, but to me, it's funny. And then obviously we have that really sweet scene with like Marco and Star reuniting.
Okay, so there's something I have been wondering. What is it? It reminds me of like Avatar Last Airbender where King Boomy was like, nah, I stay here. But instead of being smart, the king is like, nah, I just really want to go live with the fucking eagles. Blast me for all I care.
I think it was more of like, to me, this doesn't really feel like the king being stupid. I think it was more of like him not wanting to abandon his people.
Hmm.
And if that meant staying and getting blasted into the sky, so be it.
I mean, ultimately, I also feel like this was just a way for the writers to not have to deal with the king.
Maybe it was, but I do think the perspective of him not wanting to abandon his people, which is a respectable thing to have in a king, it makes sense. Especially after Marco gave him that speech earlier.
Hmm.
But also, speaking of the king, young River is just uh, he's just the best. That whole thing was adorable. Even if you don't like love stories, that was
I
adorable.
didn't like that. So,
But yeah,
like, was the queen actually planning on killing Toffee until like the last possible moment?
I think she probably was, and I think she. I don't even think she really changed her mind. I think she kind of got distracted by him putting his hand up, and that caused her to move her wand, and it therefore missed his head.
Hmm. Well, I also thought that maybe she missed like aim for the hand, not because of Toffee, but because of the curse of what would happen if she were to have killed someone with that spell.
Yeah, because like that would have freed Eclipsa. But obviously, we now know that it didn't matter if she killed Toffee or not. As soon as Toffee died, that would free Eclipsa.
Hmm.
Because in the end, Ludo ended up killing Toffee. And
What a way
we,
to go.
yeah, but like we didn't really see Eclipsa getting truly free in this episode, because like obviously, that crystal didn't crack all the way. We just saw a crack form in the crystal,
But I mean,
and
you would have to be a blind fool not to recognize that this will come back later.
yeah, like it. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that she'll come back.
I mean, especially what she said, um, what an oath between queens is stronger than the crystals.
Yeah. Um, I think with all that said, do you want to just go ahead and rate this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Okay, so before you give your rating, something I do want to say is that like if you want to treat this as four separate episodes, then do treat it as four separate episodes and uh don't account the fact that it all released together as part of your rating, if that makes sense.
So, what, you want me to rate these separately as well, or no? Wait, no, that's silly.
No, like no, like treat it as if this were its own season,
Okay,
but
that
obviously
makes
like really
yeah.
short.
I mean, we're gonna cover a shorter episode the next week. Actually, not for you guys, but talking about.
Yeah, we got to record Doug Days later this week, which should release on the 17th.
Honestly, and I haven't said much about the praises, but I really love how it's. If this was a season finale, it would have been a good one. It was missing just a few things. Maybe they could have patched up with another episode. Patching up relationships and whatnot.
Maybe they could have had some action scenes.
Yeah, but if this was the last episode, I wouldn't complain. They solved actually um make the last Queen of Mewni not crack because that's just another mystery. But they solved almost everything, every past mystery from this point. Anything that was left unsolved, they basically solved it.
Yeah, I actually think like if the show had been canceled at this point, um, I'd have been okay with it. Like, it's certainly not as big of a cliffhanger that we got when Teen Titans was canceled, but like
And of
it
course,
wouldn't be so bad even if they left the Eclipsa breaking out thing in there.
mhm. And having all said that, for a perfect set of episodes that perfectly it did it did what it was striving to do. The only thing I don't like about it is how what the Disney Channel foolishly did because they just had to compete with Cartoon Network. They just had to. Why? Anyway, let's sum it up to an 8.4.
Yeah. So personally, I believe like this special or these 4 episodes, whatever you want to view them as, I think this was the peak of Star versus the Forces of Evil. The only thing for me that really contends with it is actually the final 2 episodes of season 2. Um, so, with that being said, I'm going to give this an 8.8. And I actually really thought our scores were going to be wildly different. But I guess, like, you were just more frustrated with, like, the fact that this was originally a special that was all linked together into one thing.
Mm-hmm. No, with the actual episodes, I loved. Um, it's just, especially like when you were talking to me about it, I pictured something a lot different.
Yeah. So, like, you were going in with, like, different expectations,
Yeah.
which, like, I get it. For me, I do think it flows well together. I've read a lot of stuff and seen a lot of stuff that has shifting perspectives like this. So it made sense to me.
Hmm.
But I mean, we'll eventually get to Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, which also have a lot of shifting perspectives. Um, so yeah, I think with all that being said, you can join us next week for our free movie of the month for October and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, we're recording this pretty much in mid-September, so we don't yet know what the free movie of the month is going to be.
I
Um,
hope it's good.
yeah, because The Last Unicorn, it was something. Um,
Mm. When I want a high, I'll probably just watch that instead.
God. But yeah, I think with all that being said, I've been Avery. Uh, that's been Lily. And Rubariat is great at ruining other people's lives with songs.